The evening was cool, and I sat on the veranda, wrapped in a soft shawl, watching the sun sink below the horizon. The golden hues reminded me of brighter days, but today I couldn't shake off the weight of a story that had lived in my heart for too long. I am 57 years old now, and life has given me many joys and sorrows. However, what happened to my nephew Michael remains one of the most painful chapters of my life, a chapter I will never forget. Michael was always a bright young man, full of ambition and charm. At 30, he had built a promising career, married a beautiful and kind woman named Alessia, and seemed to have everything a man could want. I loved Alessia like my own daughter. She brought light to our family with her infectious laugh and kind disposition. She had a knack for making everyone feel special, and Michael was no exception. They had been married for 5 years and were planning to start a family, or so it seemed to me. The cracks began to show imperceptibly. One missed family dinner, one unanswered phone call. Michael began avoiding our usual weekend get-togethers, and when he did show up, he looked distant, his eyes darting around as if he were looking for an escape. At first, I put it down to work stress. He'd always been a bit of a workaholic, but deep down I knew something was wrong. One evening, I got a call from Alessia. Her voice shook as she asked if she could come over. When she arrived, she looked haggard, her eyes swollen with tears. She hesitated before she spoke, her hands clutching the coffee cup tightly. "I think Michael is seeing someone else," she finally said, her voice barely above a whisper. My heart dropped. "Why do you think that?" I asked, though I dreaded the answer. She explained that Michael had started coming home late, and his excuses were becoming more unconvincing every day. She found receipts for expensive dinners at restaurants they had never visited together, and she noticed a faint perfume on his clothes that didn't belong to her. I tried to comfort her, but my thoughts raced. Was my nephew really capable of such betrayal? The following week, I decided to confront Michael. I invited him to visit under the pretense that I needed help fixing up the house. When he arrived, I could tell he was on edge. When we sat down at the table, I looked him in the eye and said, "Michael, what's going on? Alessia thinks you're having an affair." He froze, shock and guilt reflected on his face. "Aunt Rosa, it's complicated," he began, but I interrupted him. "There's nothing complicated about fidelity, Michael. Alessia loves you. She doesn't deserve it." He sighed and admitted that he was seeing someone else. Her name was Bianca, a coworker. He claimed it started innocently, but quickly escalated into something more. He talked about how Bianca helped him feel understood and alive, as if Alessia's unwavering love and support wasn't enough. "Do you realize what you're risking?" I asked, my voice shaking with anger and frustration. "Your wife, your future, your integrity. You're better than that, Michael." But he wasn't ready to listen. He insisted he was confused, torn between two worlds. It infuriated him to see him so weak, willing to give up all the good things in his life for a fleeting thrill. Eventually, Alessia learned the whole truth. She told Michael everything, and their marriage fell apart. The divorce was hard and left both of them scarred. Alessia moved away, and although we still keep in touch, it's not the same. She is rebuilding her life and is stronger and more resilient than ever. As for Michael, he's a shadow of the man he used to be. His romance with Bianca didn't last, and he's been trying to find his footing ever since. As I finish this story, I am overwhelmed with sadness, not just for Alessia, but for Michael as well. He didn't just lose his wife, he lost his integrity, his family's trust, and a piece of himself. I try to forgive him, but the disappointment remains. Some mistakes leave scars too deep to fully heal. This is a cautionary tale that I share not to shame my nephew, but to remind us all of the value of loyalty and the consequences of betrayal. Love is a fragile thing, and once broken, it will never be the same again. I just hope Michael's story serves as a lesson to others, a reminder to cherish and protect the people who are truly important in our lives.